This sadhana here, let's first talk about whenever you engage in sadhana practice, it's good to recall what's known as the three excellences, which is three things that you want to keep as part and parcel of your practice of the sadhana. And the first one is called the excellent motivation, which we should generate, which we should kind of tap into, touch base with at the beginning of the practice. And this is the excellent motivation, which is the motivation of bodhicitta. Bodhicitta, as I've said many times, but we have to repeat it again and again, bodhicitta is not just compassion. There's a different word for compassion, karuna. But somehow, I don't know how, in the West especially, bodhicitta has been turned into simply compassion. Compassion is an indispensable element in this bodhicitta. But bodhicitta is more than compassion. Bodhicitta, literally, bodhi is awaken or awakening. Chitta is simply heart or mind. The heart or the mind of being awake. So I think in English it works very well to say awakened mind and awakening mind. Their awakening mind is what the technical reference is to what's known as relative bodhicitta. Awakened mind is a reference to ultimate, absolute bodhicitta. So bodhicitta has two aspects to it, the relative aspect and the absolute aspect. The relative aspect of bodhicitta is primarily what is being referred to when we say the excellence at the beginning is the excellent motivation. It's relative bodhicitta. So there are many different wordings to formulate this state of mind, this state, this heart, this attitude. And the simplest is to say, I will achieve the state of Buddha, do whatever it takes in order to bring benefit to all others. And that's relative bodhicitta. I will achieve the state of Buddha, do whatever it takes in order to benefit others. So the part about benefiting others, there is temporary benefiting others, which all of us can do, and all of us should do whenever we can. So these are all the simple things that we can do for others to make life easier for others. Of course, we should do that. But here, the aspiration or the vow is not so much talking about this, the temporary benefit. It's talking about the lasting benefit. And what is the lasting benefit that we can bring to others or help others reach? Which is to become Buddhists, to become awake. So this is at the core of relative bodhicitta. Now, why do we want others to have lasting benefit? Oh, because, they're troublesome, Then that's not bodhicitta. You just want to get rid of troublesome people around you. So even though there is wisdom in the sense of knowing the only way to really get rid of troublesome people is when they become Buddhists. Okay, good. There is wisdom there. But it's not yet bodhicitta, relative bodhicitta, because relative bodhicitta has to be driven by, powered by, egg on by love and compassion. And so it's not enough to just say, I used to joke, I said, the Buddhist equivalent of the expression go to hell is, go to Buddhahood. Right? The Christian context of telling someone to go to hell is once you go to hell, you never come back. So your problem is gone, when you wish someone, go to hell. Essentially, you're saying, get out of my face, don't come back again, don't give me trouble. Right? Now, from a Buddhist point of view, we're like, well, that doesn't help because they go to hell for a while, they get angry, and then they come back. Right? You're like, now we have a bigger problem, right? So we say, go to Buddhahood. So next time you want to curse someone, you say, go to Buddhahood, But if it is just that, again, it's not bodhicitta. It's only bodhicitta when it's motivated by care and concern. Yeah. So the love and the compassion piece needs to be the motivating, pushing factors. Pushing them to where? Pushing you to where? Pushing them to where? To the state of being awake. That is the excellent motivation at the beginning. It's hard to have that excellent motivation at the beginning. If we are honest about it, most of us get up and do our practice or sit down to do our practice. Most of us sit down to do our practice primarily because I want to get something out of this, right? I mean, if we're honest about it, we will all admit, I want to get something out of this, right? Of course, we all start there. But we need to touch base with the excellent motivation and say, that should really be what's, motivating me to commit to doing this. Or whatever spiritual practice you do, we say it should be motivated by bodhicitta. In fact, we say that if it is motivated by bodhicitta, then even spiritual practices that are not quote unquote Buddhist can turn into a way of waking up. Once there is bodhicitta there, they say even, this is a very good example actually. Hey, Nathan, go get the Tata print, the heavy one. They say even making water tatas can bring amazing benefits. What is water tatas? Tatas, first of all, are these, this is a tata mold. And what you do is you put clay, and make the imprint of the sacred statue, a sacred image, right? And you make a clay one, right? And then you distribute them. So the idea is to bring more sacred images into the world, to bring more beauty and awakening into the world by making these tatas. But there is a practice of doing water tatas. Like, what? Yes. So go by a river, and even for that brief moment of this, if it is done with bodhicitta, then it's beneficial. They say this. So you just take this, and you can make infinite tatas, Yeah, next time you go tubing down that dangerous river, which I do not recommend. But if you have to, bring this, la 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 la. So you are making water tatas. So that's the excellent motivation at the beginning. That's the relative bodhicitta. So that's the awakening mind. Because by having that mind, having that heart, having that motivation, having that aspiration, we are on the way to waking up, becoming Buddha. Next, absolute bodhicitta is the awakened mind. This awakened mind is basically, in other contexts, is the state of Buddhahood. The awakened state itself. In the awakened state, especially from a Vajrayana perspective, is not some goal that you arrive at down the road over there. We say that it's a present reality which we need to realize, not a situation that we need to put together for further down the road, but rather it's a reality that is already present. But right now, why are we not experiencing this reality? Because we are covered by layers and layers and layers and layers and layers of masks. The bad kind of mask. We have covered our true identity. And we have identified with these temporary identities instead of seeing our innate inborn identity, which is awake, which is Buddha. Buddhas are not only free of all confusion, Buddhas are replete with good qualities. So that is the awakened heart, the awakened mind. That is absolute bodhicitta. How do we cultivate absolute bodhicitta? That is the second excellence, the excellence in the middle. The excellence in the middle then, in practical terms, is that then when we start doing this particular sadhana, this particular practice, at all times we need to maintain a clear understanding about the basic teachings that point to how everything appears a particular way, and the way things appear is the way they appear to you. Recognize that your perception of what is going on is at the end of the day your perception. Yeah. Now, this is not to be applied into the world of science, the world of news reporting. Yeah? We're not saying you can have whatever version of truth you want. Yeah? So please don't extend it into those realms. Here to train yourself to understand when you have a strong feeling towards, especially when you feel strongly about a situation, whether strongly happy, joyous, yeah, or depressed, disappointed, frustrated, vengeful, see how that situation is basically your own projection. Recognize that, and recognize that it's interdependently arising temporarily. It has no essence. And the more we are able to train in this way, this basic understanding, the more we will not get stuck. So apply this into the context of the excellence in the middle. We will talk more about this. Then here, it's the appearance of Gurukula and then the essence of Kurukule, inseparable, but all of it appearing vividly, but like a dream. Appearing vividly, but like the rainbow. So the excellence in the middle is not fixating, not grasping. And so even with regards to this divine form of Kurukule, which is beautiful, wonderful, inspiring, all of that, our relationship to it, the way we train ourselves towards it, has to be free from grasping. So that's the excellence in the middle, and that's grounded in absolute bodhicitta. Then the excellence at the end is the excellence of dedication, which is to say at the end, whatever good, whatever benefit that I have gained from doing this practice, I dedicate this good, I dedicate this result, I dedicate this merit towards the freedom of suffering of all beings. Now we have come one full circle back to the very beginning, right? But from the perspective of these two bodhicittas, we can say that the third excellence at the end, which is the excellence of dedication, is when we now have both relative bodhicitta and absolute bodhicitta together. Because when we dedicate, right, the act of dedicating is in a way the act of generating bodhicitta. They're two sides of, they're like at 2 points of this process, right? So that's that one side. But when we do this dedication, we also need to know, in fact, nothing happens. Nothing's going on. Nothing happens and we still report it. How is it that nothing happens? Meaning from the absolute point of view, nothing's going on. Everything is already in the state of freedom from elaborations, all these different expressions that some of you might have read in books, neither coming nor going, neither born nor dying. Everything as it is already like that. By becoming awake, you are not turning from having birth and death into not having birth and death. What is happening is you're going from under the power of the delusion of birth and death into freedom from the delusion of birth and death. Under the power of like and dislike, free from the power of like and dislike. Under the power of attachment and aversion, free from the power of attachment and aversion. So that's at the end when we do dedication, these two come together. These two come together, and I sometimes call this like there is a creative tension between these two sides. So the Heart Sutra expresses it as form is emptiness, emptiness form. Most people just quote the first part, form is emptiness. They just walk around like la 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 la, form is emptiness, but emptiness also is form. So it's not just you go around, whacking with your head, all form, and pretend there's no form. But no, that which is empty has appearance. So this is the excellence at the end, the excellence of the dedication, which is the two bodhicittas now actualize, realize as one. So that's the overall, right, way of approaching such sadhana practice.